Ahab the king summoned 400 prophets that he wanted to go to war. That's the king. Then the ADC now asks him, there's still one person you have not called. And the name of that person is what? Is M.K.O. Then when the prophet approached the palace, he said the king has settled virtually everybody. But please try to say the right thing today. Then M.K.O. now said, he said, I saw the king in the war, but he never comes back. Then the king now said, go and keep M.K.O. until I come. Then the prophet now says, excuse me, king, if you come back to see me with your face again, that means I'm not serving the original God. You will go and you will not come back. You see, all the king we have now, Oni, all of them, all these people, is now that Oba Ifa, the fake Ifa we have, brought all these fake people. If Fayemi should have, I didn't mean the still normal Yoruba of those days. They remove Olagbegi, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? They remove Abacha, remove a king, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Then how can the governor call the king? They both work together now. The governor pay your salary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or dear Alaafin. He can pick that hand out to retaliate. He's still fighting. How can he beat him? He should stage him.
No, the guy just ran away.
He cannot run away. He should face him. It's one-on-one. He's still fighting. If Ooni of Ife is baby outside, if it's not his palace, the people should face him and fix him right. You don't have the right to raise your hand on anybody.
He was singing.
You didn't have the right in the Western world and everywhere to raise your hand. You use your hand to drive a good car. You use your hand to eat a bar. You use your hand to shake people. You use your hand to collect money. You don't use your hand to beat. And if you wanted to be a boxer, you should go and learn from Anthony Joshua. And we should go back to America. We should go back to London. We should go back to everywhere. We should go back to Cuba. We should go back. Yoruba Empire is everywhere. Even in Brazil. Yoruba is respected virtually everywhere in the whole world. Everywhere in the whole world. We are not somebody you can just put at the back of the door. And that's why Ogunde was singing the other day. Well, yeah, Yoruba Ronu.
Kano issue now, whereby the governor woke up and dethroned the emir. There was fear in the Yoruba land too when Governor Kayode Fayemi was alleged to have given some 11 Obas 72 hours to react to a memo that they were not coming for meeting, and he now appointed another Oba, the Oba of Ilawe Ekiti, that is Alawe of Ilawe, Oba Adeyeye, as the chairman of the traditional council, and some other 16 he made him chairman over the Ewi of Ado Ekiti, who was supposed to be among the 16 Pelu-Pelu Obas. They said these are the traditional Obas that are supposed to be the foundation of that traditional council, and because the governor did it through the Bureau of Chieftaincy Affairs, and the Alaafin has to write a letter that Kayode Fayemi should not play with the Yoruba traditional custom, that he should revise it, that because it's spiritual and it's not just political, and he should not toy with it, because everybody started seeing Governor Fayemi as if he's going to sack those Oba and relegate them, and making an Oba that is out of the Oba Merindinlogun, the 16 Pelu-Pelu Oba, a chairman. Then after that, we saw the Alaafin also writing Kayode Fayemi, and telling him to be careful. Then the Alawe of Ilawe now replied the Alaafin, telling him to mind his business, because Alaafin is saying that Ekiti is not a place he can toy with, that the governor should not toy with Ekiti, because Ekiti is a fundamental Yoruba empire that forged in the queried war, and that he, as the Alaafin, represents the supremacy of the Yorubas. Right now, as we are talking now, Kayode Fayemi has gone to beg the Alaafin, according to what we saw on the internet, and the Ooni also called for a meeting on the same issue. We also learned that the Governor Kayode Fayemi has also gone to the palace of the Ooni with some of the Obas, the 16 Obas in Ekiti. So, do you think that the Yorubas should also go to the way of this politicalization of the traditional institution? Do you think it's godly or insane?
Thank you. This is still part of my job.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because when you look at Psalm 105, verse 12 and 13, he said, due to the fact that they are few in numbers, he warned the king. It's only the prophet who can help the city to install a viable king. But the prophet is bigger than any king. As I'm sitting down here, while the power of the Lord vested on me, I'm bigger than the Ooni of Ife. If me and of Ife should meet, according to the power, the Holy Spirit power in me, is carried the one of the satanic side of his own side, but I'm carrying the armor of the Almighty God. You get what I'm saying? And when you look at the book of First Kings 17 and 18 and 19, and when you look at 2 Kings 3 from verse 10, and when you look at 1 Kings 3 from verse 10 to 17, then when you look at the book of 1 Kings 19 and 18, and 2 Chronicles 18, he now said, the Ahab, the king, summoned 400 prophets that he wanted to go to war. That's the king. Then the ADC now asks him, there's still one person you have not called. And the name of that person is what? Is M.K.O. Then when the prophet approached the palace, he said the king has settled virtually everybody. But please try to say the right thing today. Then M.K.O. now said, he said, I saw the king in the war, but he never comes back. Then the king now said, go and keep M.K.O. until I come. Then the prophet now says, excuse me, king, if you come back to see me with your face again, that means I'm not serving the original God. You will go and you will not come back. Then when you look at the book of 1 Kings 13 and 14, the life of Ahijah, he said Ahijah was so old. Then the king wanted to play prank. You see, all the king we have now, Oni, all of them, all these people, is now that Oba Ifa, the fake Ifa we have, brought all these fake people. If Fayemi should have, I didn't mean the still normal Yoruba of those days. They remove Olagbegi, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? They remove, Abacha remove a king, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Then how can the governor call the king? They both work together now. The governor pay your salary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or dear, Larafe. So then why do you disobey the king? Is it the ritual or the herbalist who asked you to disobey the governor? So they should go and settle. He should not remove them, because they are looking for a way to destroy Fayemi's image. And Fayemi needs to be very careful. He is there because of the people of the land. He's not there because of the kings. He can stop their salary. He should not allow anybody, because the eye of the Lord is on Fayemi. The Lord still wants to use Fayemi for something great. So he should drop this trouble and leave them to it. If he failed, he will have stroke.
You mean partial stroke or massive stroke?
He will have stroke. I will be flown out of the government, the states. I may not come back fine. So he should drop it. I dreamt about it and he showed it to me. In the fasting day I'm doing, I pray for him virtually every day. We've never met one-on-one. I'm not a politician. But at times the Lord can bring the picture of some people. Just like in Bayelsa, the Lord said they should leave the PDP to just take the place. Those days, according to the prediction 2016, the Lord said after the 8 years, it's APC that will come. Now that they don't have good people who want to go there, why would they not allow the word of God just to go unaccomplished? It's there in that page.
Yes, sir.
It's there. So automatically, as man propose, God disposes. Then at times God do miracle. Because he now said, I love Jacob more than Esau. So what are we now talking about?
That's a political statement, sir.
Yes, so you should listen to the Oba. You should listen to all the people. Because we have a lot of things at hand now. They should allow the Amotekun to work. They should allow all this. We need the security in Yoruba land. It is security we want now.
So, but you have been talking about security since prediction 2012. You have been talking that the Yorubas should create a security to guide their what they call it, bushes, the guide their domain, and even the reserves. Yeah. So are you saying that Amotekun is that result of your prophecy since 2012, sir?
Yes, it's part of the result, sir. Because when you get to America, there's a community police, there's a school police, there is a park police, there's a police on the highway police, then there's a police in the city too, so that nobody misbehave. When a policeman turn a blue light on you on the road, you need to obey, because we are paying their salary. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what we needed in Nigeria. And when you look at the number of police we have in Nigeria, it's not up to the population. All the police we have in Nigeria, if we are to guide Ogun and Lagos very well, yes, they are not up to the people that can guide the whole place. And when you look at all these governors, their wife will be with 2 police, their children will be with 2 police, the governor will be with 10 police. How many police will we have in the city? So that's the problem. So they should not allow anything to disturb the Yoruba at all at this junction. We are the part of going, and they should be their brother's keeper. They should come together and think every day and plan well. And look at the problem we're facing. It's not the Hausa alone. The bigger problem we have in this world, the Yoruba have, is the Igbo problem. It's the Igbo problem. The maritime and then the judicial killing among the Yoruba race, Yoruba land is by the Igbos. Then when you look at the fake drug, it's by the Igbos. When you look at all the adulterated drugs too, it's by the Igbos. And when you look at all the fake things they brought from China, it's all the Igbos. And when you look at all the shops in Yaramkpaja and everywhere, it's by the Igbos. And when you look at the Okotoko and all these things, even the name they are bearing in their village is different from the name they are bearing in Akure. An Igbo who did not go to school, who did not know his left from right, he's selling drug in Abulegba. He's having a chemist in Abulegba. He's having a chemist in Surulere. He's having a chemist in Ayobo. He's having a blood bank where they start blood and sell into the hospital in Mushin and in Yaramkpaja. It's Igbo people. All to bring down the Yoruba people. So the problem we have now is too enormous. Now, even to be talking about Wasi was a chieftain of Yoruba land. It was Mayegun or Mulegun or Muleduro. Don't worry. We have more problem than this. All these are human beings.
Because Wasi slapped somebody at the stage after becoming Mayegun, he beat a photojournalist recently.
He can beat that hand to retaliate. He's still fighting. How can he beat him? He should stage him.
No, the guy just ran away.
He cannot run away. He should face him. It's one-on-one. He's still fighting. If Kabiyesi, if Ooni of Ife is maybe outside, if it's not his palace, the people should face him and fix him right. You don't have the right to raise your hand on anybody.
He was singing.
You didn't have the right in the Western world and everywhere to raise your hand. You use your hand to drive a good car. You use your hand to eat eba. You use your hand to shake people. You use your hand to collect money. You don't use your hand to beat. And if you wanted to be a boxer, you should go and learn from Anthony Joshua.
No, I mean, what's your in the beat?
You should go and learn from Anthony. You should go and face Anthony Joshua. It's not embarrassing the person. So Yoruba have a lot of trouble. And when you look at it now, Igbo is looking for a way to be a member of a House of Assembly in Lagos. Igbo is looking for a way to be a member of House of Assembly in Ondo State. Igbo is looking for a way to be a member of Assembly in Oyo. What is the meaning of all this? And then they want to have the emir of Kano seller in Ore. They want to have the emir, the Seriki of plantain seller in Abeokuta. They want to have the Seriki of onion seller in Idimota. When are we going to run out of this rubbish? And when they are bringing all this cow in, they brought in ammunitions. What is the problem they are facing? So it's just like that. So they should not cause any trouble for now. Between now and 2023, they need to be arranging themselves. We are about going. Because when you look at the book of Exodus 1 verse 8, 9, and 10, he said, anytime the Egyptians are giving birth, the Israelites are giving birth, he said, kill all their sons. kill all their sons, so that they will not join the enemy tomorrow to attack us. That's what he said. Then when you go down again in verse 4 and 5, they said, the king who know the good work of Joseph is dead. Then when you look at what we should be praying for now, is just in the book of, we need to build up our integrity. Yoruba need to build up integrity. Tinubu has no integrity. All these people has no integrity. We should look for people, just like the man who owns the Awolesi. And we should go back to America. We should go back to London. We should go back to everywhere. We should go back to Cuba. We should go back. Yoruba Empire is everywhere. Even in Brazil. Yoruba is respected virtually everywhere in the whole world. Everywhere in the whole world. We are not somebody you can just put at the back of the door. And that's why Ogunde was singing the other day. Well, yeah, Yoruba ronu. Yoruba to what they don't back at the ball. And what I call only with a go blanket love for. Then we gave them clothes to wear. They were just striking without anything nomad. We call them the nomad people. Yep. And these are the people fetching water for us. We call them the Meruas. The Meruas. Then what comes about now? That all the port in Nigeria is being what? Is being teleguided and monitored by them. Where is the sin? It isn't because of them we do the quota system. When a bright Yoruba boy in Ondo Ekiti, geography, 19 physics. Then when you see all those, the teaching of spirit and everything, and the army formation and police formations were taken to the north. Why? Because they don't know their left from their right. How can normal human being lay the pipe from here to Kaduna and say Kaduna refinery? Till tomorrow they are still fighting on how to get fuel. You see, these people are derailed, downgraded, useless human being who is still buying fuel. We're talking about the electricity car. They were still looking for how to get fuel, get petrol in the north. What are they doing with other mineral resources? And they come to Ife, they come to Elisha, to come and be tilling the golds and be taken to what? To Kano, to taken to Saudi Arabia. And then they will be building a palace for the what? Building a palace for what? For the Ooni of Ife. And look at the man who called himself the radical who came from Canada, who said he's selling lands. That's the
Oluwo of Ife. That is over there.
Last year, anything from April, you'll be flying from one problem to the other.
Yeah, you said,
I will be dethroned.
Yeah, you said it last year, but they suspended him.
He's going to be dethroned.
No, he slapped an Oba in a meeting.
He's going to be dethroned.
He beat his wife out of his house.
I said he could have even.
He has no wife right now.
He could have challenged Joshua if he knows how to fight. We have a boy who can fight. You know that he can get a belt. All these people fighting, they're just an animal. It's animal that fights. They have animalistic behavior.
He was saying a lot of things.
That's what they came from their fathers. In this Polygamous house they came from.
I mean, he says they tell you.
Yes, they are not the rightful person. So automatically, and you know I told you sometimes,
yes, sir.
the Ekiti governor, the Ondo State governor, the Oyo State governor, the Lagos State governor, they should be very careful. They need to be very careful. Even though if care is not taken, they are the one who is going to take the punishment of what Oshoba and the rest of people did about Tinubu and the rest of them. And what the other man who burned down the city hall, which is the former boyfriend of Obasanjo's Iyabo Obasanjo, Koro. He burned down that city hall, and he was doing all this rubbish thing those days. Now look at him. What is he doing now? And then when you look at it again, we have a lot of trouble because we are eating our enemy's food. Carrot is from the north. Yam is from the north. Beans is from the north. Rice is from the north. Then watermelon is from the north. We are eating from the enemy table. This is not the time to fight any king. It's the time to give a king the power of Anthony. That every county must have a mechanized farming. So that we can stop the outside of bringing their food into our area before the end of 2021. So they will now know where they belong. So they should take all their lots, their farm produce. They should take it to Cameroon. They should take it to Niger. They should take it to Chad. They should take it to Uganda. Because we give them, they are overjoyous. And we have two hands who can do this. All the tractors the government imported into this country are taken to the north. All the fertilizers are taken to the north. Everything are taken to the north. They deserted us. Why don't us use our brain? That makes me to remember what Abraham said. What they told Jacob and Esau. Isaac said, your brother has collected the blessing, but go and use your 5 senses to work. And then when you look at the book of Genesis 24, 25, and 26, and Genesis 28, verse 1, then Genesis 49, 1 to 5, Genesis 50, from verse 10 to 17. Then when you look at the book of Genesis 43 from verse 10, he said, if you can bring Benjamin, I will be very happy. Then when you look at what the outsiders are going to regret, see what happened in the book of Genesis 42, from verse 16, 17, 18, 19. He said, didn't I told you not to sing against the Yoruba people? Now they have left. It will still come out from their mouth between now and 2030. Didn't I told you, the Igbo will lament, the Hausa will lament. That didn't I told you that these people are good? When you put any governor from the north, or even in an NPC, you will see an Igbo man being a writer, a secretary. You will see a Yoruba man writing as a secretary. You will see a Benin man writing as a secretary. And then the Oba of Benin have to wake up. He need a lot of cleansing. Oba of Benin need a lot of cleansing. Because he must know that a life was given to him by somebody. If he's a king here, he cannot be king in heaven again. He needs to be talked to. He needs to be talked to. He's behaving like Nebuchadnezzar. And that is Daniel 4. You should go and read from verse 17. Enough is enough. The Lord said he will visit him before the end of 2022. And he needs to be very careful not to die in his sleep or fire inferno. And he's going to bury a lot of illustrious sons who join hand with him to perpetrate and foment all this evil. And then the young man that was on the YouTube that is telling him the truth, he should bring the boy back home and parley with the boy. The boy is the current angel of the Benin people. He's the current prophet saying the right thing to the Benin people. How many rituals have they done to kill him? They cannot. Can you fight God? No. And when you look at the book of Jeremiah, that same Jeremiah, he said in 23 from verse 18, he said, who has ever been in his council before amongst you? Then when you look at the book of Acts of the Apostle 16, Acts of the Apostle 13, Acts of the Apostle 5, then Acts of the Apostle 7, and Acts of the Apostle 6. Then you now see what happened in the Apostle 9, when the man arose and got to a power. He said, I will surely destroy. And when you look at the story of what happened in the book of Acts of the Apostle 10, from verse 20, when Cornelius was saying, us of a rubbish thing. God can put somebody in position and he can remove you tomorrow. 1 Samuel 1, 1 Samuel 2 and 3. And when you look at the book of Esther 4, Esther 5, everything is there. If you are a governor, do it well. If you are a trader, trade well. If you are selling garlic, sell well. If you are selling potatoes, sell well. If you are opportune to serve the people, serve well. Can we compare these people with Paye Modu? No. Can we compare these people with Attorney Nahoro? Even the British people knew a Nahoro to be a good person, a prolific writer. And look at what is happening today. And when you get to here now, the most painful thing happened at Ifo. That was January. I beg all the Nigerian King Obas, the councillors, and the chairman, they should try and raise money for the Yorubas to plant tomato, to plant rodo, to plant tatase, to plant our ata ajosin that we are using before. We should allow this malab to go. They put them in all the strategic junction of all our states to be monitored, the car going in and out, and all of them are armed with ammunition. And they were busy buying all vacant land everywhere in Lagos. Yes, and even the refinery they brought to Lagos by Dangote, and his flour mills, and the cement factory he kept in Ogun State. They were planning hard. There was a fight between the vendors, food seller, where they were constructing the Dangote refinery. Go and find out. About 7-8 months ago, they keep virtually all the Yoruba around the place. They were going inside their house and macheting them, gunning them down, killing them in the Yoruba land. In Yoruba land. And when you get to Ogbemudia, and when you are entering Benin, about 3 weeks ago, there was a standstill hold up when they now loaded vehicles and coming to kill the people of Edo in their own land, killing the villagers, beheading them, and because they said there is no law that governs the land.
On the final note, sir, we want you to advise the politicians and the people, especially on what is going on around in the country. What should they look out for in year 2020 now? Apart from this coronavirus, what other things should people look out for? And how do we survive year 2020 in the politics and especially in the church. Right now, you predicted in 2019 that the church, a lot of fake pastors are going to be exposed. Right now, we are now seeing prophets that are tearing pints inside their offices being exposed. Prophets that are using voodoo to draw people to their churches being exposed. Prophets that are bringing members of Ogboni fraternity to their altar being exposed. A lot of exposition. And the church itself is going through a spiritual reformation. So how do you advise Christians to use it in 2020 and Nigerians generally, especially the political class and the electorate who are going through all the bad rules, the power holding companies and
when you see the wicked triumph, it looks as if there is no God. When you look at the book of Psalm 94 verse 1 to 13, Job 20 4 to 11, Jeremiah 5 20 to 26, 25 to 35, 2 Samuel 15 10 to 30, then Proverbs 11 verse 10 to 18, then Jeremiah 14 verse 11 to 20, then Acts of the Apostles 16 from verse 10 to 18, then out of the Psalm 1 1 to 4, then 2 Samuel 13 verse 32 to 40. Then when you look at Acts of the Apostles 5, Acts of the Apostles 6, then Acts of the Apostles 1 verse 18, then Acts of the Apostles 9. And then when you look at Acts of the Apostles 16, and when you look at the book of Acts of the Apostles 23, from verse 13, he said, we will not go to bed, we will not sleep, we will not eat any food until we destroy Paul. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Then when you look at Acts of the Apostles 26 and 27, then when you look at the book of John 8, from verse 30 to the end, he said, why are you playing Ludo in the morning? When you look at, do we have any politician in Nigeria? We only have a game changers. Can you call Obasanjo a politician? Can you call Tinubu a politician? Can you call the governor, the engineer, who was now in charge of the prison yard? You know, anybody that is guiding prison must smell prison. The former governor of Oyo State. Osun State. Shola is more or less a prisoner. You know, he has been put on white before. Yes. Before they gave him that position.
The Minister of Interior.
Yes, but what does the prisoner put on? What does the prisoner put on?
Put on white.
Then Shola was even asked to go and stay with them. He's more or less a prisoner.
In charge of immigration and prison.
Oh my God. Anybody that is taking care of a madman, he has to taste some of the medication. And to man told you weary. Oh my, don't know now. That's it. So automatically, all the people we have on stage now, they are not politicians. They are town crawlers before. They are womanizers before. They are jailbreaker before. They are what? They are womanizer. They are bastard who did not know their father. Do you know the father of Babangida? Has Babangida said anything about his father before?
I don't think so, sir.
Has he said anything about his father before?
No, sir.
Have you ever heard where the final burial for Abiola was done?
No.
Otigbabi told the Sharia Abiola ni.
No, sir.
Abẹ́ ṣe fẹ́ arrange yẹ. Abẹ́ àwọn Délé Momodu fẹ́ arrange yẹ. Àwọn ló fẹ́ arrange yẹ. Àwọn Gbẹ̀ngà àbẹ́tá iṣẹ́ láàrin àbí Olóṣèyínká àbẹ́ àwọn Ọbásanjọ́.
Confused, sir. We're confused.
My brother, don't be confused. God time.
No, confused.
When you look at the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, he said there is time for everything.
Recently, even Honorable Gbajabiamila was said to have taken his mother's 90th birthday to Dubai, and people are saying that he should have done it in Lagos because the same Gbajabiamila was one that was said to have bought 50 million naira G-Wagon for his wife the other day. The party. So how can you take the 90-year-old mama to go and be doing birthday in Dubai? What do you see to this, sir?
Sir, in 2010, in the front of the church Elisha here, I was asking Ola, the choir master, Ruben Ola, an accountant, and Choderu was there, then Malaolu was there, and a lot of them were there. I said, sir, you said Marcus did not like collecting money from people in government. Marcus did not like collecting money from people in government. I said, do you know for sure? A day is coming when government will be looking for his money. And those who have stole his money, they've caught Sanusi, they've caught the former Senate president. Yes. And when you look at Akpabio, these are part of the highest armed robber of the land. And they are still walking on the streets. The highest chief we have in the whole Africa was Abu Salam, followed by Akpabio, followed by the rest of them. And when you look at the woman who governed the EFCC before, Farida said, anytime the government made any mistake to arrest her, that head will roll. And since all these days, nobody ever go to touch the lady. And the lady meant what she was saying. Then all the money they have made in the EFCC, is this on paper? Have you seen it on the paper before? Our president said every 100 days, he will be giving us the lowdown of what is going on in the city. But when the Kaaba visited him, they said, you can't do that. You know, it was the Kaaba who wanted to kill him the other day when he didn't dance to that tune. Now he's not dancing to that tune. And if he ate eba or stew or anything now, he will live long. Because his enemies are now working with him. And when you look at everything, these people cannot make a difference. They cannot make a difference. But we are just passing through. When the original time comes, you will see what happened. Because when you look at it in the book of Genesis 43, in Genesis 43 from verse 28, he said when they brought Benjamin before Joseph, he said Joseph was so happy. Oh, I was even having a doubting mind to these people. Maybe they have killed my brother maybe they've sold my brother the way they sold me to what? The Potiphar's wife. He said they should kill an animal. Then he blessed his brother. Then what did his brother said when they saw him in 43? They said, we came with the money that we saw in our bag. He said, peace be unto you for a man of peace. Joseph said, peace be unto his brothers. But his brother was even lamenting, saying, oh, we were thinking you are going to arrest us. We saw our towel back in our purse. We saw the money in our purse. We saw this in our purse. He said, I'm not for that. In Genesis 50 again, from verse 10 to 17, after the burial of their father, they didn't want to follow Joseph again. He said, why are you not people preparing to go? They said, we don't want to follow you. Because we were thinking whether you're going to take vengeance after the death of our father. Then Joseph now replied them, I am not God. Let God prevail on this land, sir. When you look at the story of 2 King 3 from verse 10, he said there is no water in the land. And when you look at the healing of barren water in the book of 2 King 2 from verse 5 to 10, then when you look at what happened to our enemy in the book of John, when you look at 2 King 6, 2 King 5, 2 King 3 and 2 King 4 verse 11 to 21, he said, this is the last food I have to eat and die. But the man said, can you listen to me? Then when you look at the hardship those days in the book of Mark 4 from verse 30, get it to 34, he said, Master, we are perishing. Somebody gave us life. I was telling you about order. Leave these people to be. When the time comes, they will leave the stage. There is no how a party or a wedding or a bad day is too glamorous. It's too glamorous in everything they were doing there. Everybody was happy. But it will be a time when the man that leads or hire the hall for us will tell us it's time to go. Have you partied in America before? It's about time. Time shall talk. On Tinubu, time shall talk. On Abiola, time has talked already. Time has already. Now we now say Abiola died so time a year ago. Abacha died so time years ago. Gumi died so time years ago. Do you remember Gumi is worse than Buhari? Gumi is worse than the throne emir of Kano. Gumi said it's not in his lifetime. Can a Christian rule Nigeria? A Christian will not rule this country. Then in his 60th birthday, he died in his living room. You didn't see the punishment the Lord meted on Shagari? He wanted to take over Ondo State. Later he said they should answer for Ondo State for adjusting. Allow God to take. He said 1 Corinthians 2, 3 and 4. Then he now said in the book of Romans 1, Romans 2 and Romans 3. Then he written in Romans 12 from verse 1 to 5. We should just respect the government. But when it's time for the God to pack up the government, you see Abacha died. Adua died. In the what? It's inside the Aso Villa. Do you remember they did not bury the corpse of Adua in Nigeria? And they patched it up. They off the lights and they put that teddy bear in a casket. And then they buried effigy. But we are not dying. And even the family of Adua, they break into the vault in the Aso Rock. They burn down some places to lose some money. And even from this country again, the wife of Abacha, they looted a lot of money too. Now Buhari cannot sleep without talking to the family of Abacha. Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Is it the Fulani or the Hausa? No, Hausa hate the Fulani. Fulani hate Hausa. What concerns us about this? Is there any Fulani or Hausa in heaven? All is just a cock and bull story. We should stop. We don't need to worry. We should wait for God's time. God's time is the best, my brother.
Very last note, Bayelsa, the Lord say APC is going to take over. But look at how that young boy, Lion, went to the front of one prophet, Joshua, and said he's going to celebrate. And 24 hours before he was falling, PDP took over. So is APC going to take back the state again?
Yes, sir. APC is coming back. The word of God will never go unaccomplished. It may be last day. They are gathering their papers. The both party did not have the right to. It's better they give it to a neutral party. APC will come back again there. Because automatically, east or west, whatever the Lord said, will surely come to pass. So because it said in the book of Revelation 22 from verse 10 end, he said, you who are filthy, be filthy. And you who are good, be continue. I am coming soon to pay everybody his own due. Then when you look at Revelation 3, verse 6, 7, and verse 7 says, I'm the only God Almighty who has the right to open and close. So God bless you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. That has been a very fantastic one. And you've learned a lot of lessons from the Nostradamus, Prophet Dr. M.K.O. Tibetan. We thank you for your time. Until we bring the prophet to your way the next time, the discourse continue. Goodbye.